Thank you, Heavenly Dad. But to continue my list, I'm holding the view that, like, what's it called, glossalia, speaking in tongues. I'm reminded that magical things like, people saying abracadabra and that sort of thing was associated with what we've called black magic, and it's a risk in the sense that if you're speaking in an unknown tongue and you don't know it yourself, then can you be sure that it's God speaking through you and not some other spirit? Therefore, is it some sort of risk? And you have to say, well, yes, there is that risk. You could be speaking in tongues in faith, and God will know you're in faith, so in some sense it's fine to talk to God in tongues where you don't know. But where you're talking to other people, where you're saying things that you don't know, that sounds a bit reckless. You could say, but it may nonetheless bless them. Yes. It has certain obvious disadvantages in that it elevates the speaker. In some sense, we're claiming that God is speaking through me, and therefore I'm elevating myself. And that could be very narcissistic in some sense, and greatly misused, of course, because now I'm the great guru, the great priest, the great healer, or the one with the words of knowledge, and I'm giving this out even though I don't understand what the knowledge is, supposedly. Or perhaps I do. Well, if I do, that might be okay, but otherwise perhaps very risky. It was argued that speaking in tongues originally was at Pentecost, which is not true, of course. People have spoken in unknown languages long before Pentecost. You may have thought it was satanic, but they were doing it, right? Something of that order. But at Pentecost, of course, we felt that no, it's definitely reliable of God from the point of view of the religion that believes in Pentecost. But it was of a very peculiar form, a very specific, rather, form of speaking in tongues where everyone heard in his own language. That's a bit different to singing or speaking in tongues where neither you nor the congregation, most of them, have a clue of what it's about. And as, Paul is supposed to have said, therefore it should be checked by interpretation, or else keep quiet, because it's not edifying if it's not known. It's a risk, in effect, I think he's saying. Could be harmful. And perhaps that advice is right. I don't care where the advice comes from, in a sense. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong, If the religion says it's wrong and it is wrong, well, great. With the religion, it got that bit correct, if you know what I mean. But of course, clearly parts of the Christian religion definitely believe in a speaking in tongues that is where the speaker doesn't know, at least, and there may not be someone around who can interpret. In which case, I've got a feeling the Pauline advice was, well, do it in private then, keep quiet, And perhaps that's valid. You could wrestle with that one yourself, But to come back to, one of the points here in this list, our purpose is what? We're sent. Sent to do what? not solve every spiritual problem, or every worldly problem, or every disease, or cast out every demon. No way. It's not that. According to the Jesus story, we're sent to do what he did. You could say, but he did all these things. Yeah, but what did he give priority to? God is our Heavenly Dad who loves us. Does what you're doing contribute to this fundamental, perhaps as you see, necessity of belief? That without this, everything else becomes rather meaningless, rather fast. In which case, prioritize, dear one. And I mean, there's no way I can claim to be, having kept this principle, having produced, I don't know, nearly 4,000 videos. Well, they're not videos, they're stills, aren't they? Podcasts, whatever you call them. Publish them, I mean. So I would be guilty. Don't do what I do what I tell you. Don't do what I tell you. Do what you think is right. That's everything. To your relationship with your God and your life eternal, as I see it. That is your priority, isn't it? So, don't take unnecessary risks, I think, is what I needed to add to this recording. And I've not got as far as this point, but it looks very important to me. So I don't speak in tongues in public, in general. I did last night at a meeting. Well, they were singing, and they were jamming, and I wanted to bless them, and it had a strange effect too. I've never seen people in a secular meeting so moved by what I sang to their jamming. You know, I sort of chanted in tongues. Or perhaps you don't know, but I did anyway. And I was moved too. So I'd say there was a benefit and a blessing. But then when I put together a recording this morning, because I thought perhaps this would bless anyone, someone says to me very seriously, you should put this on YouTube. You should do this on your recordings, sing in tongues. I thought, yeah, they're right. And I felt that very strongly last night. But I'm in considerable doubt this morning. For the reasons I've just gone through, I don't know what I'm putting out there. I'm trusting, yes. And it did move them. But perhaps it's a bit like an elevating healer, self-elevating. That, you know, I'm the guy who sang in tongues. And it moved the crowd. Is that the same as them? Or is it inspiring and helps, a blessing? I'm not sure, dear one. And I have to leave it with the Lord, with God. Perhaps it's clear to you. Fine, run with it. Whether you think it's right, or alternatively, whether you think it's wrong to do such. Run with what you think is best. That you find out. Unless it's very clear to you now, in which case, well, that's lovely. Run with that. We're very free, you see. And our Dad, our Heavenly Dad, is very understanding. That's what really matters. Our trust is in him, not in our getting things right. Yeah. Well, I've put the recording at present on hold and won't publish that one until I do otherwise, you know. Jury's still out on that one. Don't want to miss great blessing for people, but don't want such cost as it wrecks. For instance, the availability of my recordings to be a blessing. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.